Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is mini episode Monday. And today's episode is going to be a little bit spicy. So buckle up because I am about to tell you something that might change your life. You are not confused. You are afraid. And that's actually the best news ever. So let's dive in. Here's what I hear all the time from brilliant, capable women. I just don't know what I want. I'm stuck. I don't know what to do next. And it feels so real, right? It feels heavy, paralyzing, like there's this endless fog you just can't get out of. But let me tell you, you are not confused. You probably know exactly what you want. You're just terrified of wanting it. You're scared of what it would mean to go after it. You're scared of what could happen if you fail. You're scared of what people might think. You're scared it's going to be hard and uncomfortable. And because you're scared, you tell yourself you're confused. You let confusion be the comfortable excuse that keeps you stuck. Confusion is just a way of your brain tries to protect you. If you're confused, you don't have to take action. If you're confused, you don't have to risk anything. If you're confused, you don't have to be uncomfortable. But here's the cost. You can stay stuck in confusion for years, spinning, exhausted, empty, watching your dreams slowly wither. Confusion robs you of your life. Let me tell you about my client, Jessica. For almost 11 years, yes, an entire decade, she told herself she was confused about her marriage. She'd come to our sessions saying, I just don't know what to do. I can't figure out if I should stay or go. But here's what was really happening. Jessica wasn't confused. She was terrified. Terrified of what divorce would mean for her thriving consulting business that she'd built up during her marriage. Would she have to sell it? Would she owe her husband half of its value? Would she end up starting over at 47? She was paralyzed by these questions. So she called it confusion instead of what it really was, fear. So what's the solution? You have to stop letting confusion pretend to protect you. You have to be on to yourself. You have to be on to your brain. The solution is simple and powerful. Assume you're not confused. Assume you know exactly what you want, because you do. You are brilliant. You are capable. You have instincts, intuition, and experience. You know. You have to decide to stop hiding behind confusion and face what's really happening, the fear. Fear is not a problem. Confusion is a problem. We can work with fear. We can manage fear. We can overcome fear. But confusion just wastes your life. Literally. Think of it this way. Confusion is like quicksand. The more you struggle in it, the deeper you sink and the harder it is to get out. Fear, on the other hand, is like a mountain. It's intimidating, yes, but something you can actually climb with the right tools and support. Jessica had been sinking in quicksand for 11 years. What she needed wasn't more time to figure it out. She needed to admit she was standing at the base of a mountain, afraid to climb. So, here's exactly how you do it. Step one is you imagine you're not confused. If you already knew what you wanted, what would it be? If you weren't afraid, what would you go after? Step two, bring up all the fear. Write it all down. Be specific. Be honest. And here's the rule. Stick to the facts. If it can't be proven in a court of law, it's just a thought. Not a fact. Not reality. It's a lot of drama. And your brain loves to add drama to your stories. But most of what's scaring you isn't even real. It's just a story, a projection, drama that your brain is creating. Step three is to solve for the facts. If there's a real tangible challenge, you can plan for it. You can prepare. You can strengthen yourself. You can build skills. You can figure it out. Step 4, normalize the fear. Fear doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. Fear means you're stepping towards something meaningful, something that you want, something that's important to you. It's like starting a new job or role that stretches your abilities. Remember the knot in your stomach on that first day, the worry that you might not measure up. That fear didn't mean you took the wrong job. It meant you were stepping into growth territory, somewhere that mattered enough to make you nervous. You cared about it. It was important to you. For Jessica, facing her fear meant finally meeting with a financial advisor and divorce attorney, not to file, but just to understand her options. She'd avoided this for years because she thought not knowing was safer than knowing bad news. But what she discovered shocked her because her business was better protected than she thought, and there were strategies she could implement right away to prepare for whatever she decided. Fear is going to be the price for growth. It's not a stop sign, it's a green light. And step 5 is to decide anyway. Decide, move, take one tiny action in the direction of what you want. The goal is never to eliminate the fear. The fear may always be there. And if you set bigger goals for yourself, you're going to experience the fear and that discomfort. The goal is to be a woman who acts anyway. That's where your power is. And here's what happens when you do. You stop spinning in circles. You start gaining momentum. You start building self-trust. You start actually creating the life that you say you want because action creates clarity. Action builds courage. Action changes your life. You were never stuck because you didn't know. You were stuck because you were afraid to know. But when you're willing to move through that fear, this is where you reclaim your power. This is where you create progress and you create growth. You create a future that feels alive and gives you energy and is meaningful. Once Jessica stopped hiding behind confusion, she made more progress in 3 months than she had in 11 years. She didn't immediately file for divorce, but that's not the point of this story. The point is that she finally made a clear-eyed choice based on facts, instead of fear-based stories, instead of the drama. She told me later that she felt like she had been underwater for a decade and had finally come up for air. It didn't matter whether she stayed or goed, but she knew that when she made that decision, she had made it from a place of power and not panic. And that's what you're here for. So here's your challenge. This week, stop saying you're confused. Refuse to let confusion rob you of one more day of your life. Go to that deeper place where you already know and make one decision. You've got this. And if you want help moving through the fear, building your self-trust, and finally getting unstuck, this is exactly what I help my clients do. And you don't have to do it alone. And you don't have to stay stuck. So book a discovery call. The link is in the show notes. Let's go create the life you're meant to live. Thank you for spending time with me today. Remember, you are not confused. You are powerful. And the life you want is waiting for you to claim it. I'll talk to you again. Bye-bye.